God bless you guys. Thank you, media, for coming out here, and all you supporters. Thank you guys for coming today. I want to give a special welcome to John Gordon, who is running for Attorney General. So, I'm going to be very brief today because we have a very special guest, and this is an honor for me to have the governor, the ex-governor of Alaska here, who is running for Congress in Alaska. She's come 5,000 miles to be down here today. All the way across, we were coming, it's about as far as you can go still be in the continental United States from Alaska to Georgia, right? So it's always this warm here and the weather's always this good. So thank you for being here, Governor. I'm going to ask her to say a few words in a minute, but let me just make a couple comments. I'll be very brief. This is a race between people and politicians. I'm an outsider. I had a 40-year business career. I ran for the United States Senate in 2014 to help change the direction of the country, and thanks to Donald Trump, we did that. We created the best economic turnaround in U.S. history. The best thing Jimmy Carter gave America was Ronald Reagan. The best thing Barack Obama gave America was Donald Trump. We saw how they failed. The Democrat platform has failed repeatedly. They cut our military. They ruined our economy. They sent us down the wrong road. And now we see the Biden madness doing exactly the same thing. 2 million illegals, runaway inflation, $5 a gallon gasoline down here. We lost our energy independence. They shut down ANWR in Alaska. We know we can't keep going down this road. This governor's race right now will determine whether or not we have a conservative Republican in the White House in 24. It will also determine whether we get the Senate majority back right here in Georgia. This Senate race will determine that, I believe. And neither one of those will happen if Brian Kemp is our nominee coming out of the Republican Party. Why? Because he has divided our party. He allowed them to steal the election. He denied it. He is now covering it up, and he's suppressing evidence. And that's why he cannot win in November. That's why Bonnie and I, my wife, decided to get in here. We could not stand by and watch this train wreck happen. So I'm delighted to have the endorsement of Governor Palin. I'm just telling you, the House seat in Alaska, there's only one seat. So that makes her technically more powerful than the 2 senators up there. But there is a real, she's in a, she'll tell you about it, but I think there's something like 50 candidates in that race. It's all mail-in ballots. It's a struggle up there. I'm so delighted she gave us some time to come down here. Let me introduce one of the great American heroes, one of the great supporters of America First, one of the great supporters of Donald Trump, Governor Sarah Palin. Thank you.
Honored to get to be here, thawing out. Yeah, this is beautiful, and everything that is going on in Georgia, it is so important. It is so important for the electorate to do its job and show up on Tuesday and take our country back, take your state back. That position of governor is so very important when we talk about election integrity, and that should be first and foremost on everyone's mind, what we can do to ensure the integrity of our elections, because you cannot exercise democracy within our republic when you don't have the fair elections that the electorate deserves. And of course, David Perdue, he, with his priorities being truth and letting the people's will be first and foremost in his agenda, it's so important. Kemp had opportunity to do something about the shenanigans that had gone on in this past election. I don't know why he was so hesitant, why he kind of just went along to go along, and that's unfortunate, and we can count on David Perdue to do opposite of that, but to challenge the status quo. Ronald Reagan had said status quo, that's Latin for the mess that we're in. And we are in a mess, not just in our individual states, but the country as a whole. So David, being a leader of the America First movement, he was America First before America First was cool. Right. He knew then to support what it was that Donald Trump was standing for, the Trump movement, that the people were backing, that the people so recognized was most important for our country. And David was right there in forefront from the beginning. I was really happy too that of course President Trump endorsed David Perdue, and I talked to him a couple of times in the past couple of weeks, and we talked about election integrity. We talked about these individual states, how important it is that we have the right governors in our state capitals, mentioning David Perdue also. And Trump's like, can you imagine if all of us are in position at the same time, what it is that we'd be able to accomplish. And yeah, I think that has the left get their heads floating about now, because they don't want to see that. They don't want to see David Perdue in office, because he will come up against that status quo, that machine that has been compromised, that political machine that's been compromised. He's doing what he's had to do for years, and I too, in my own political career, up against a good old boy network. You know, you don't make a lot of friends within the party establishment when you challenge those who you believe, those who you know, could and should be doing a much better job for the voters of their state. So I so respect that in David, that he's bold, he's courageous, he has a wonderful family, his wife being so supportive, and she's a wonderful woman, and you know, I always like to say behind every strong, successful man stands a surprised woman. So, yeah, you have the right partner there, David, in what it is that you need as a team to be willing to serve. And he is willing to serve. He could be doing anything else in the world, you guys. And here he making sacrifices for Georgia in order to make sure the will of the people, it's heard, it's adhered to, and that's how Georgia is taken back. So, yeah, it's an honor to get to be here. And, you know, I think voters hopefully, you know, in this, we're at the end game here on the 24th for this primary. They need to remember who's in the best position to defeat Stacey Abrams. Because if she were to be in office, man, she'd be making Biden look like this genius, you know, with all these great ideas. And no, what Stacey has already been a part of, this commitment to fundamentally transform America via our states, that's a scary thought. You only fundamentally transform something for which you have disdain. You actually want to get rid of what it is and reinvent. They're talking about our country is what they want to do, and she's a part of that movement. So very, very important that Georgia voters keep that in mind. Who is best positioned, who has the courage, who has the boldness, who has Trump's backing too, to defeat Stacey Abrams. And I'm asking that as, 5,000 miles away up in Alaska. I'm asking that Georgia keep that in mind, because what goes on in your state capital really does affect the rest of the nation. It's not just Georgia on my mind. Georgia is on the mind of, collectively, the United States of America. Everybody's going to be watching what happens on Tuesday. So you have the right candidate here in David Perdue. It's my absolute honor to get to be just a little tiny, tiny part of this, to lend whatever support I can and hopefully help the cause and not hurt the cause. And I'm very, very pleased to get to be here. You guys have a beautiful state. I hope you don't just take it for granted. Absolutely gorgeous and wonderful, wonderful, hard-working, common sense, constitutional conservatives everywhere I look. And that's refreshing. So I'm happy to be here. Very, very happy to get to shake hands again with your next governor, David Perdue.